In our daily lives, we constantly make decisions, from the most insignificant, such as choosing a dish at a cafe, to life-changing ones, such as a career path or political preferences. At the same time, we often believe in our complete independence and rationality. However, deep research in the field of social psychology and sociology shows that our individual decisions are under the powerful, often unconscious influence of collective behavior, the same crowd effect. This phenomenon, manifested from mass panics and riots to fashion trends and investment bubbles, demonstrates how much the social environment can shape our perception of reality and encourage us to take actions that we might not have taken alone. This is seeing unlimited greatness. Understanding the crowd effect and the mechanisms of its influence is the key to critical thinking, protection from manipulation, and building a more conscious society. What is the crowd effect? The crowd effect, or herd behavior, is a phenomenon in which individuals in a group act in the same way as other group members, often ignoring their own beliefs, logical reasoning, or even obvious evidence. This occurs due to social pressure, the desire for conformity, the need to belong, or due to a lack of sufficient information, where the behavior of the majority is perceived as correct. The main forms of manifestation of the crowd effect include conformity, change in behavior or beliefs of an individual under the influence of group norms. Social contagion, rapid spread of emotions, moods, and behavior among people in a group, often without conscious analysis. De-individuation, loss of self-awareness and personal responsibility in a large group, which can lead to impulsive or aggressive behavior. Groupthink, phenomenon in which the desire for agreement and harmony in a cohesive group suppresses critical thinking and evaluation of alternatives. Psychological mechanisms of crowd influence. Why are we so susceptible to group influence? There are several powerful underlying psychological mechanisms. Social proof. If many people are doing something, we tend to assume it is right or safe. This principle is especially strong in conditions of uncertainty, when we are unsure of what to do and look for cues in the behavior of others. For example, if there are many people waiting in line to get into a restaurant in a new city, we are likely to assume that it is a good restaurant. The need for belonging and avoidance of social rejection. Humans are social creatures. Being part of a group is a fundamental need rooted in evolution, survival in a group. Fear of rejection or standing out can make us conform to the expectations of the majority, even if we do not agree internally. Ash's conformity experiments vividly demonstrate this power. The illusion of consensus. We tend to overestimate the extent to which our views coincide with the majority opinion, or conversely, assume that everyone thinks the same way, even if this is not the case. This leads to the suppression of dissent. De-individuation and decreased responsibility. In a large anonymous crowd, an individual may feel less responsible for his or her actions. The feeling that everyone is doing it, or my actions don't matter in the grand scheme of things, reduces moral restraint and may lead to aggressive or destructive behavior, e.g., during riots or mass riots. Emotional contagion. Emotions such as fear, panic, enthusiasm, or anger can be transmitted in a crowd with great speed. By observing the emotional reactions of others, we subconsciously begin to experience similar feelings, which affects our behavior. Authority and leadership. In a crowd, an informal or formal leader often appears whose behavior or appeals can be blindly copied, especially if this leader is perceived as authoritative or capable of decisive action. Manifestations of the crowd effect in everyday life. The crowd effect is not limited to emergency situations. It permeates many aspects of our lives. Fashion and trends. From clothing and hairstyles to the use of certain gadgets or memes, we often follow what is fashionable under the influence of social approval. Consumer behavior. Recommendations from friends, bestsellers, mass sales, Black Friday, and product popularity influence our purchases. Financial markets, investment bubbles, and crashes are often driven by the, quote, instinct, where investors follow the general market sentiment rather than fundamental analysis. Politics and elections, public opinion, media influence, social media, and majority behavior can strongly influence political preferences and voter participation. Culture and norms. The adoption of new social norms, language expressions, or cultural practices often occurs through gradual diffusion within groups. Safety and emergencies panic can occur in crowds when people mindlessly follow the first ones to run, even when there is no real threat leading to stampedes. Or, conversely, in the bystander effect, no one acts because everyone expects others to act. How can you counteract the crowd effect and make informed decisions? It is impossible to completely avoid the influence of the crowd, but we can learn to minimize its negative effects and maintain autonomy. Develop critical thinking. Always ask questions. Why am I doing this? Does this align with my values? What is the evidence? Do not accept the information or behavior of the majority without analysis. Seek alternative sources of information. Do not limit yourself to one opinion or one news channel. Explore different points of view, especially those that contradict your current beliefs. Practice self-awareness. Understand your emotions and how they affect your behavior. Be aware of when you feel pressure to conform. Create an independent social circle. Associate with people who value individuality, critical thinking, and are not afraid to express their own opinions. Be willing to go against the grain. Recognize that sometimes being different is not a weakness but a strength. It takes courage, but it allows you to maintain integrity. Pause before acting. In emotionally charged situations or when social pressure is high, take a time out before making a decision or taking action. Learn to recognize manipulation. Understand how marketers, politicians, or other groups use the crowd effect for their own ends. The crowd effect as a force for good. Despite its potential negative consequences, the crowd effect is not always evil. In the right conditions, it can be a powerful force for positive change. Mass movements for social justice. When people come together for a common cause, e.g., advocacy, environmental initiatives, the crowd effect can create irreversible momentum for positive change. Charity and volunteerism, examples of mass participation in charities or disaster relief efforts, show how collective behavior can mobilize enormous resources. Innovation and knowledge dissemination, rapid adoption of new technologies or ideas once they become common knowledge can accelerate progress. The role of digital technologies in amplifying the crowd effect. With the advent and spread of digital technologies and social media, the crowd effect has reached a new, unprecedented scale and speed. Online platforms, whose algorithms amplify the resonance of certain opinions and trends, create echo chambers and information bubbles, where people are subjected to even greater pressure to conform. Viral dissemination of information, both true and false, flash mobs, online bullying, and the rapid formation of hype around certain phenomena are all vivid examples of how the digital space amplifies and accelerates collective behavior, making its study and understanding even more relevant for each of us. Understanding the crowd effect is not meant to demonize collective behavior, but rather to provide us with tools for more conscious participation in it. It is a reminder that, although we strive for individuality, we are deeply social beings. Our task is to learn to use the power of the group to create and grow, while maintaining the autonomy of our minds and making decisions based on awareness, not blindly following the majority. In this balance between individual freedom and collective influence lies the path to a more mature and sustainable society.
If you'd like to support the channel and help us keep pushing forward, there are links in the description where you can donate. Every contribution helps us reach more people, do more good, and keep this mission alive. There's also a store down below where you can grab something for yourself, or even better, a gift for someone you care about. It's a simple way to spread love and let someone know they matter. We're all just trying to grow, to become better, to rise above the noise and step into who we're really meant to be. And I truly believe change is possible, the kind of change that creates a ripple effect and helps others see the beauty still left in this world. This channel is about real growth, real transformation, and I'm here to give you a front row seat to what that looks like. Raw, honest, and grounded in purpose. God is within all of us, and my goal is simple: to reflect that light as clearly and powerfully as I can, for you and for the world around us.